I'm Eamon.
And I'm Isabel.
And you're watching the GB News digital stream across the United Kingdom.
And around the world.
If you're here in the UK, you can also watch us on your TV screen. GB News is Freeview Channel 236.
On Sky, we're Channel 515.
626 on Virgin Media.
Just remember, you might need to retune your TV to watch the channel.
Yeah, and if you are doing that, find out more about retuning by going to gbnews.uk.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilized conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Hello there, I'm Eamon Holmes.
And I'm Isabel Webster.
And we hope you can join us for
Breakfast with Eamon.
And Isabel.
You make me laugh out loud, belly laugh.
Is that important first thing in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's me trying to be deadly serious. News is a serious business.
Yeah, I have to rein you in sometimes.
Well, it doesn't stop us laughing at it. It doesn't stop us having an opinion on what's going on.
Yeah.
And it certainly will not stop us reflecting what you think.
Weekdays from 6 to 9:30 on GB News.
Hello and welcome to GB News Live with me, Alastair Stewart. Coming up, with schools about to return and new mask rules in the classroom, we'll be talking about the importance of children's mental health. And later on, it's the very best of Dan Wootton's Big Questions, where he takes on the nation's top public figures and celebrities. But first, let's bring you right up to date with the news.
Thanks, Alistair. Here's your news at 3 o'clock. A senior Conservative MP says he fears mask wearing in schools could damage children's mental health. That's as secondary school pupils in England are being advised to wear masks again to minimise the disruption caused by the Omicron strain. The move brings English schools in line with the rest of the UK, as the government says there are no excuses for children not to learn face-to-face. Robert Halfon, chair of the Commons Education Select Committee, says the risks from COVID need to be balanced against the risks to children's well-being.
There's a lot of research out there from all around the world, from Belgium to Germany to Canada to the United States, that suggests that masks have a negative impact on children's well-being, mental health, learning and emotional abilities. So I think we need to be very cautious here.
Well, that's his view, but Professor Hugh Pennington thinks the move will make some difference in tackling the spread.
It's not the silver bullet to stop the transmission of the virus. It shows that, something is being done, and there's going to be a relatively small but real reduction in transmission.
Well, Boris Johnson wants ministers to develop robust contingency plans for workplace absences over fears that rising COVID cases could affect businesses. This follows reports that guidance to work from home in England could continue for most of January. Public sector leaders have also been asked to test plans against worst-case scenarios of up to 25% workforce absence rates. 20 Conservative MPs and peers have written an open letter calling on the Prime Minister to tackle the rising cost of living, particularly energy bills. Those who signed the letter, which was published in the Sunday Telegraph, include 5 former ministers. They're proposing environmental levies are cut and VAT is removed from energy bills. The government says it's already taking steps to help the most vulnerable by making cold weather payments and changes to universal credit. School children in Scotland are being urged to get their second COVID jab before heading back to school. From tomorrow, youngsters aged 12 to 15 can go to a drop-in centre as well as bring scheduled appointments forward. The Scottish Government says an increase in vaccination capacity means jabs are being offered earlier than originally planned. Meanwhile, around 132 million coronavirus jabs were given last year amid the largest vaccine campaign in British history. Over 90% of people in the UK over the age of 12 have now had their first jab, and nearly 85% have had their second. The emergence of Omicron has also accelerated the rollout, with more than 1.6 million Brits getting their booster jab in the final week of 2021. Firefighters are assessing damage to the roof of the Houses of Parliament in South Africa after a fire earlier on today. Around 35 firefighters attended the blaze, which is believed to have started on the third floor of the building in Cape Town. Some ceilings have collapsed, however, no injuries have as yet been reported. The President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has praised the work of the authorities on the scene.
Now I think we should be grateful that the National Assembly Parliament has not been razed to ashes and to the floor. Much as it is disappointing, devastating, there is something that we can be grateful for.
The DUP has warned Liz Truss of major implications unless progress is made over the Northern Ireland Protocol. They want the Foreign Secretary to swiftly set a formal deadline to end negotiations with Brussels. DUP leader Sir Geoffrey Donaldson says a lack of rapid and decisive progress would impact the stability of political institutions. Ms Truss, who took over from former Brexit negotiator Lord Frost, says she remains prepared to invoke Article 16 if issues are not resolved. Farmers are to be paid to help restore natural habitats to fill the gaps left by EU subsidies as part of new government plans. Environment Secretary George Eustice is set to announce 2 new schemes to rewild Britain, aiming to restore up to 300 hectares within 20 years. The Sunday Telegraph reports plans will include a local nature recovery scheme with funding to build new habitats, plant trees and restore wetland areas. OK, that's your news update for now. Karen Roberts will be with you at 4 p.m. with the latest headlines. Now let's return to Alistair.
Thanks very much indeed. So the new year is finally here and the festive period is finally at an end. But many in the country still have major concerns about the coming months. With the spread of the Omicron variant, many parents have raised concerns about schools closing, although, of course, they remain open for now, but just a few more days. How will it go? And the rate of transmission increasing among younger age groups is a further concern. Well, today, as you just heard in that news bulletin, the Education Secretary has ordered that masks be worn in classrooms in England's secondary schools, and not everybody is happy about it. So, to help us manage those concerns and tell us how parents can cope with all of the new stress is mindset coach Janie Holiday. Janie, great to see you, a good friend of GB News. What is your key advice for parents as they prepare for this new term?
Well, I've got 3 children by myself and I'm a small business owner. So as we go into this new year, I want to share exactly what I'm doing because we're back where we were a year ago. It's that limbo effect that is so impactful on us in a negative way. We don't know where we are. Just as you said, we're intending for the kids to go back to school, but are they? A year ago, I put my kids to bed thinking they would go there the next day, and then that was taken away for us. And that was really, really difficult. As human beings, we thrive on a bit of structure, a bit of planning, our ability to know what we need to do. And it really is very unsettling and very uncertain. But as a mindset coach, I know that there are a few things that are really important. Number one is we must put our focus on what we can control. When we try to control things that are beyond our control, we get really, really stressed because there's nothing that we can actually do. Second of all, we have the power as human beings to choose positive, better thoughts over negative, stressful ones. And also, I think it's so important that we stay in the present and remind ourselves that we have been here before. I know we're all exhausted. I'm exhausted. But if we go into the year with an element of self-trust that we can get through this, hopefully this will come to an end at some point, and be kind to ourselves because we are in a pandemic. No one knows what the right thing is to do, and it is utterly exhausting for sure.
What about the children themselves? Because I have 4 children, one of whom, funnily enough, is a former headmistress as well. And the idea of trying to coax them into expressing their concerns so you can help them deal with it seems to many people to be absolutely central.
Yeah, it's absolutely, you're right, essential to be able to talk about how you feel. Obviously, a lot of children find that hard, particularly teenagers, regardless of a pandemic. Expressing how you feel can be quite a challenge anyway. I think it's a fine balance between encouraging people to express what they really are feeling, but also making sure that we don't go over things over and over again, because the more we focus on stressful, difficult things, the more we bring it to our attention. I think we need to go into this year with a sense of, if possible, a little bit of lightheartedness, a sense of humour. We're all in this together, teamwork, camaraderie, and actually really open the dialogue. I think another key point to make is that we are all going through this pandemic through our own unique map of the world. My struggles will be different to yours. Teachers, who I think are the unsung heroes of the pandemic for sure. Parents, kids, we're all struggling with our own things. It's about communicating that as openly and calmly and without judgment, and really listening to each other and expressing how we feel.
Yeah, and funnily enough, and it was in the news bulletin just now, I had Robert Halfon on the programme a few hours ago talking about the mask issue. It's potentially stressy, and it's about well-being as well as physical health, because you've got the issue of the parents saying you do have to wear it, I don't want to wear it. You've got teachers saying you will have to wear it, I don't want to wear it. And then they will hear on the radio and see on television people saying, well, they're no blooming good anyway. I mean, those masks are a real problem for folk.
Yeah, and I think what you've described here is the utter confusion that not just adults, but children who find those things hard to process anyway are dealing with. I've got teenage twin boys. They woke up this morning to the news they'd have to wear masks all day long. They were absolutely gutted. But it's my job as their parents to try and switch their focus to the more positive things. I think if children really, really struggle, then there needs to be a conversation about whether they can be exempt from wearing it, because for some children, it really does impact them so badly. But for me, I'm just going to try and put as much focus as I can on having the last day of the Christmas holidays with as much fun and positivity as possible. It's only 4 days to the weekend. And I think the most important thing is get kids out in nature, get them doing things that they enjoy, divert their attention from all the distress and misery, and try and create as much joy as possible around the school classroom, and just keep praising them. I think that's so important. No matter what age you are, even us as adults, we need some praise as well, is just congratulating yourself, your kids for getting through the day, those kinds of things. It will make a big impact, really empowering them that they can get through this, and plan great things at the end of the day so they've got stuff to look forward to. What else can we do?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. There's nothing in the world better than a good walk, very often on your own. Just get your head together and it all gets into perspective. But we had a couple in the studio a little while ago doing the physical jerks of how to get ourselves back fit. You're a life coach, which means both physical and well-being. Are there mental exercises that you can do as well that will benefit your well-being and therefore indirectly that of your children if you're lucky enough to have them?
Yes, 100%. I used to be in the fitness industry, so I totally get the physical stuff. But actually, we do put a lot of focus this time of year on kind of healthy habits and joining gyms and getting our trainers out and things like that. My big tip to improve your mental well-being this time of year, apart from things we've just talked about, is to start the day and ground yourself without getting drawn into negativity, stress, those kinds of things. I'm a big fan of getting a notebook, a journal, so that you can just monitor your thoughts. It's called free writing. Just let out what's in your head. That's a really big tip. For me, I'm a big fan of kitchen discos in the morning. Play the good music that the kids like, because that really, really helps you set the day in the right way. We have something called the RAS filter, the reticular activating system. If you set that the right way positively, it will bring more of the good stuff to you. Its job is to filter all of the hundreds and thousands of informations that we can take in each day. So if you can set it positively, connect with people, whether it's family in person, online, things that make us feel happy first thing in the morning will have a real positive ricochet throughout the rest of the day.
And what do you say to those who say, oh, well, you're pretending there aren't the problems? We've got climate change, we've got COVID, we've got this, that and the other. I mean, they've got a point to an extent, but you're all about having things in context. What do you say to the gainsayers, the negative ones out there?
Well, if you want to be negative and stressful, that's your choice, but that's not how I want to live my life. I don't want to waste any precious time on this planet whatsoever. And I think that's where mindset is a real inside job. We have the power as human beings and as parents, as families, and within the community to have a positive contribution regardless of what's going on. Stress is a choice, negativity is a choice, being busy is a choice. We all have the power to take back control of that, and we can all have a great year. I'm intending to have a great year despite, in fact, maybe especially because we're still in the pandemic. It's totally possible. Think differently and you will absolutely live better for sure.
Did you say vacations there in that list?
No, I said I'm setting the intention to have a positive, great year.
I misheard you because I was going to say, oh God, she said vacations, because I want to ask you about that finally. Because, I mean, whatever age you are, going way, way, way back, and I can remember the very first family holiday we ever had going down to the Channel Islands, and it was that good, I can still remember it. All of that's been disruptive, and it's not just getting a bit of sun and sail and sand, it is also about the unit being together, not worrying about school, not worrying about bills, just being away for a wee while. And an awful lot of folk haven't been able to do that for a long, long time. How important in your book, Janie, is that idea of a holiday, whether it's a weekend to Brighton or whether it's a week in Tenerife?
It goes back to what I was saying a few moments ago, Alistair, about putting your focus on what you can control. We can focus on the things that we can't do, or we can put our focus on the things that we can do. I took my daughter to St Ives for a few days last week. It was absolutely wonderful. I was supposed to be going to Greece last year. I was going to put it back to this year. I've actually decided to cancel it because I'd rather set to and create a simple year. What I would say is this: yes, holidays, and just as you talked about, such an important positive anchor in our childhood. Our kids really want us to be together. They want to have fun. How can you create that if you can't go away? And if you keep talking about the things that they don't have, they're going to look for the things that they don't have.
Let's give them what they want and keep them happy. Janie, Happy New Year, and thank you very much for your time today. Lots of great pointers there. That's it from her and from me for today. Thanks for watching. Coming up, Dan Wootton has the best of the big questions, so don't miss it. But first, let's bring you right up to date with the weather.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Looking ahead to this evening's weather, and the UK is looking windy with heavy, blustery showers, bringing hail and thunder to some southern areas. It will be a drier end to the day in the southwest with some sunny spells, remaining windy here with the odd gusty shower still possible, especially near the coast. Remaining rather windy in the southeast of England too, with strong gusts at times, a mix of sunny spells and